So here we are back at the Man with the Horns, and in my studio La Tromba in Hofstrasse 10, 97070 Würzburg. And today we're preparing for some sort of combination concerts and jam sessions, basically on the Schützenhof, which is just outside of Würzburg, up on the hill, besides the so-called Kapelle. It's a capella up there. Baroque capella from the 18th century. It's wonderful. They have a beautiful Baroque organ in there, from the time of Bach. Have you ever played with it?
No.
Oh, it's great. And this is Dirk Rumig, and he's going to be playing among this beautiful saxophone that he's got from 1953 from Selmer, right?
Mm-hmm. Right.
The Selmer 1953 saxophone, which is a comparable also to, if I may just put this right here on this thing here, comparable to this 1947 Selmer trumpet that actually plays both in C and in B flat. Yeah. I just have to do this and put it here like that. So it's really, I have another complete only B flat, but I think oh, here it is. This is the same horn that people like Clark Terry played.
Yeah.
Also Louis Armstrong, but with his valves a little farther forward, because Louis was a very strong guy, and he wanted his valves to be not here in this middle part. If you look, please, his valves on his Selmer were here and not here. So it's the so-called balance thing, but it's a question of whether and this is the other version here. This is the Sabarish version. Ramon Sabarish was a professor of trumpet at the Paris Conservatoire, and one of Maurice André's teachers. And so if I put my own mouthpiece into that, maybe let's see if we can get some sort of a symbiose, they say in German, right? Mm-hmm. Some sort of a sound together. See, this is a very, very small bore trumpet. And most people don't know how to blow these trumpets. They force them. They think they're going to blow a Vincent Bach Stradivarius model, which everybody seems to want to play, or some copy of that is a Yamaha or whatever. But basically, the old French trumpets were really the cat's meow, especially Courtois and Selmers and F. Bessons. I have an F. Besson C trumpet here too. They were the instrument. I also have a Kahn from 1920, which I think might also be comparable, but we'll talk about that another time. Mm-hmm. But right now, just comparing, this is the smaller Sabarish model from about 1947. What were we talking about? Something we were doing with his handpan. What was that? Mm-hmm. You know what we did? We did a funeral last week.
Yes.
Remember?
Mm-hmm. I remember.
And I think I still got some of that. Oh, here it is. We did the Arioso from Bach, remember? Mm-hmm. And then we did My Way. And you did, here's still your music, by the way. You wrote the music out. And I photocopied it big enough for you to be able to read it at a distance, remember?
Yes.
Dirk. So, I'd like to see how these two horns sound just by doing something that we did before. Can we look at this Arioso? Did you play any harmony with that, or we just changed off, right?
We changed off, yes.
But then you improvised over something, or did we just change off?
We just changed off.
Okay. But
partially, I played a bass roll on my bass clarinet.
Oh, you played the bass clarinet on that day. The one with the wooden bell, right?
Yeah.
Very cool instrument. But I showed you my trumpet with a wooden bell too, didn't I? Piccolo trumpet? Didn't I? Mm-hmm. I'll have to do that another time. I can't do everything at one time. But let's just focus on just the sound of these two vintage Selmer instruments together. I'll just put this a little bit higher than that. You see it? You cool with that?
Mm-hmm.
We'll play in this direction. You can photograph us better, and the microphone's over there, so we can see. Now the trouble is this moves so easily that when I blow the trumpet, I blow the slide out, and it gets flatter and flatter. So I need to just control that just a little bit. I'll just take a little bit of masking or tape there for just 1 second for today and for now. You know, to be able to improvise something very quickly is important. It expedites one's lives and keeps you from wasting your time. Want to just play the beginning?
Mm-hmm.
I'm still having a little trouble with the intonation on this, but it's a much brighter sounding trumpet than would you really usually have. I enjoyed that. That was in a very, very resonant room that we were playing, right?
Yes.
And
the bass clarinet got this this lower range, so I got out of your way.
Yeah.
So we didn't mix up in the same range.
Yeah, we were in different ranges, and it complemented each other very well. What kind of a clarinet was that?
That was a Selma as well.
A Selma, an old Selma?
No, an actual Selma.
But it is a new bell. Is that an original Selmer bell? Or?
No, it's an aftermarket bell made by Luis Rossi,
Rossi.
the guy who makes clarinets for Paquito de Rivera.
Okay, for Paquito. Okay. So it's actually a jazz model kind of thing, yeah?
No, it's more classical model.
But Paquito's a jazz player, right?
Yeah, but either you play jazz or classical, the instruments have to work.
I understand.
Yeah.
I was going to show you, we were talking about piccolo trumpets, or I was talking about a piccolo trumpet with a wooden bell. Well, here is, I've got so many instruments, it's unbelievable. They're always in the way of each other. I wanted to show you the instrument that has a wooden bell.
Ah, there is the wooden bell.
There's one of the wooden bells. This one is for a piccolo in A, but this is made in Bamberg by an instrument maker called Segelski. Have you ever heard?
Yeah,
Segelke,
He's a clarinet maker.
Yeah, he's a clarinet. So it's really made by a clarinet maker for a trumpet. And
there must be a bug inside.
A what?
Kind of virus inside. When a clarinet maker builds something for a trumpet player, it's always a kind of terrorism.
I don't think so.
No, I'm kidding.
I believe in the idea of ingenuity, and that's for B flat here. Is that one's longer than the other? Which one's longer?
This one is longer.
So I'm just going to take this bell off, put it over here, and then take that bell.
The longer one?
No, I'll take the shorter one. Unless I'm in A here. No, this is in B flat. And what key is your clarinet in? Your saxophone.
The saxophone is in B flat.
Okay, so I'm in B flat here too. I just have to make sure that the valves are moving. Yeah, after you don't play an instrument it was in my shelf, you haven't played it for a few days. And in Germany, especially in Würzburg, there's an awful lot of calcium
In the water?
In the water, I mean, really, so that basically the valves freeze up very quickly. I usually oil my valves in case anybody's interested about how to oil. I don't take the valves out of the horn. That's not a good idea. but I put put oil right into the valve, and then I pull out the first valve slide, and then let it ring down to the second valve, and into the third valve, and into the fourth valve. And so I get all the valves oiled without taking the valves out. See, valves score, and they have certain, they score, which means they develop little lines. And I would never take the pistons out of a motor of a car to put oil on them. I mean, that's just doesn't seem to me to make any sense at all. So I'd like to find out if we can get some sort of a sound there happening. See if this mouthpiece will fit. No, not for this model. Then I'll take it out of my E-flat trumpet, or the one that I would put in my E-flat trumpet. Where have I got it? Here. No, that's for a low trumpet. Boy, I've got so many toys and whatever. It's unbelievable.
Richard?
Yeah.
What if I send you an email with some music? I've got a beautiful duo by Scarlatti for two same...
Scarlatti, I love Scarlatti.
Yeah,
wow,
it's beautiful. I can send it. Could you print it?
Of course. When are you going to send it? Now?
Now, I've got it on my phone.
Wow, this is the modern world we live in. You know, fascinating. So let's just see if I got a mouthpiece that I can put this in, because I'd like to. You mean we could do that right now if you sent it, right?
Yeah, we can.
Okay, so that's what we're going to do for the next thing. I don't know how many minutes we got left, Mike. 4 minutes? Okay. Well, I still want to, I'll just take any old mouthpiece and stick it in here. By then I'll find the right mouthpiece that fits here. But just to try the general intonation, because I want to make sure that I'm high enough. So I'm very sharp.
Yeah.
So let me just see if I can get down to your intonational level. Okay, that's really quite low. Can you look into the tuning machine here? Absolutely perfect.
I know.
So, but here's the thing, Dirk.
Yeah.
In different countries or in different regions, especially in Europa, the A is much higher. The Americans, or especially the old American instruments, were pitched for A440. I've got this tuning to A442, if you take a look here.
Yeah, that's actual orchestra standard.
That's what's happening these days, yeah. And it gets higher all the time. I don't know if it makes the sound better, but it certainly is what's going on these days. And I think I found the right mouthpiece already. Yeah, there it is. So let's try it again. Works for me. Pretty close. So why don't we do this arioso?
Okay.
Now I'm getting into the 4-valve range here, but you can hear that it has a very similar sound actually to, want to play it yourself? So actually he's playing, actually you changed the color of sound to sort of match me.
Yeah.
He automatically, because he's a very good musician, changed the color of sound, made it more nasal to fit to the more smaller and nasal sound of a piccolo trumpet in that range. And that's the artistry that we're going to be talking about the next time we see you tune into The Man with the Horns here in my studio, La Tromba Music, in Hofstrasse 10, 97070 Würzburg, with Dirk Rumig.